So we'll get started. So this is going to be a talk about a learning community that we run at MassBay, and we call it a learning community project with a twist. And we're going to let you know why with a twist. And it's called the shopping cart experience. I'm Susanne Steiger-Escobar. I'm a faculty member in the computer science department. I teach programming courses. And this is my colleague.
And my name is Marina Bograd, and I am a faculty member in the engineering department. And in this part, I teach the project management course.
So I'd also like to introduce one of our students who actually graduated from MassBay. We're from MassBay in Massachusetts. And she's actually here because she graduated and her husband moved to California, so she came to come and help us a little bit. And this is Anita. She's looking for a job. She's like, okay, so we can get started.
So a little bit about the shopping cart experience. Everybody knows what a shopping cart is, right? We've used it tons of times. So this is what we ask our students to do as a project. Or a little bit the definition of it. So the shopping cart experience is a project-based collaborative learning community where students participating in 4 different courses work as a team to complete a common project. So students get together, but they're not sitting in one course. The team is made up of students from 4 different courses. What's great about it is that they bring their own piece of expertise from each course to be able to accomplish this project. The team typically consists of project managers, web developers, web designers, and digital imagers. So students apply individual knowledge and skills simulating a real-world experience. The project can only be completed when all students work together as a team to be effective and nice-looking website.
Okay, so just wanted to say, if you have any questions, please interrupt us. So that's not a problem. We can answer at any time. So what are the courses that are involved? We have 4 courses that are involved in this project. We have, for all these courses, we have a common hour. You can see that here, this is what we use to advertise for the students to sign up for these courses. And we have like the CS176, that's going to be the strict web design course where students are learning HTML, CSS, jQuery, how to make and design beautiful websites, and using the right latest technologies. Then we have the 126, which is digital imaging, and we have actually an adjunct professor from the art department in photography teach this course, and she uses different kinds of tools. She may use Photoshop again to actually create the logos, the banners, and it teaches how to express art through digital photography. Then we have the CS41, that's the website development course. It's a course that I teach that is programming at the back end. So these are the students that have some requirements to get there, and they will be dealing with the database and the website to actually post information and actually write and read from the database. And then we have the MN140, which is the project management. The Marina teaches this course. It's in the engineering department, in the mechanical engineering department. I think you want to talk about that.
And in this course, project management, that's what we do. We try to keep everybody on schedule. We write a lot of documentation, like the scope memo that they have to create, and keep everybody updated where they should be. They create the schedule using Microsoft Project. They track the schedule. They track the progress of the project. And they do some closing of the project. So that's our job. A little bit about how this works. Is everybody okay? No questions so far? So a little bit about how this works. As we said, teams consist of students from each course, hopefully, as long as we have enough students in each course. And Susanne will talk a little later about how we handle the ones who don't have enough. The difference, the little twist to the learning community, typically when we think of a learning community, students take all courses at the same time. In our learning community, students can take 1 or 2 courses. They don't have to take all courses. They can't actually, due to scheduling, they can't take all courses, but they can take 1 or 2. we do give students a lot of choices. Students like choices. We like choices, right? So anywhere we can, we provide them with a choice. One of the choices is they can pick their own teammates. We have, in about week 2, we have a speed networking event where students can meet each other if they don't know each other. They can learn about each other. We have a little worksheet for them to follow, to figure out how they want to select their teammates, so their work habits, things like that. So they get together, they meet, and typically they pick their teammates right on the spot. And if they don't, by about week 3, we ask them, we can help them out, and we ask them to give us some choices, and we create the teams. So by week 3, we have the teams. And then the teams get together, and they get to pick what they want to work on. It is a shopping cart, but they can do anything from, what they've done in the past 4 years. We've had students who created a shopping cart website that sold their own art. We had students who created shopping cart website that sold cakes, skateboards, jewelry,
travel.
Yep. So anything and everything. It's their choice. It's whatever they're interested in. So once they're interested, that provides the intrinsic motivation to keep going. And we've had some beautiful websites. So teams choose the project, the topic, the colors, the design, anything and everything that they can, create. They get a choice. The work that we assign in all the classes typically moves students forward with the projects. It's not disjointed assignments that they have to do by due date. It's more of, okay, this is going to help you with the project. So they, again, provides a little bit of motivation, and since they can't do it individually, students have to, each student depends on the other student within the team. It gives them a little bit more motivation to progress. We do have, we built in a common hour for all the students to meet. So all 4 classes meet once a week for an hour, so the students get this built-in time. They don't have to make time outside of class. To do this, they have built-in time where they can talk to all 4 of us, and they can talk to their own team and figure out where they're going, especially important for project managers, where they can figure out where everybody is. So we have that weekly common hour. All courses have a common project schedule, so we all know where everybody's supposed to be. We do have, during that common hour, sometimes we invite relevant speakers to all, so they can all participate or all hear. And at the end of the semester, they all participate in a STEM, all school STEM expo, so they present their project in a poster style session to see what came out.
Okay, so now why a learning community? Because these courses were taught individually before, and actually they get taught on their own during the fall semester if when we're not teaching those courses. So only in the spring we run it as a learning community, and we see there's a difference. So here they're working all towards one project, and the other ones, they're individuals, they're all doing their own. So we find that through working as a team, they're practicing their communication skills. Students need to collaborate, communicate, because these students are taking different courses. They only see each other 1 hour a week. So they need to communicate, and there's a lot of communication that happens through email, through texting, through Google Hangouts, and of course when they're in the face-to-face. Students learn to deal with criticism because they've agreed on a project, they've agreed on a color, they've agreed on a theme, and now they're working using their skills to create something, and they need their team to see that and agree with it. And so they learn very, very early on, I don't like that, or let's change this, or this is not like what we discussed. So they need to be faced with that. Of course, they're collaborating, teamwork, very important, very important. These are all very important soft skills that we hear from all employers they want to see in our students. So they're practicing all of this for the whole semester. Management skills, this is really very interesting because they all have a very similar schedule. In terms of the project, it's the same schedule, but they all are contributing pieces at different times because like I can say the developers, the programmers are learning this part, so their contribution is going to come a little later. But the designers are very early on working on design and making choice of colors as well as the digital imagers. And so they all have to sort of wait on each other they depend on each other to complete the project, and so they learn about what it means to be responsible for a piece and have it on time so that there's other teammates can continue with the project. So here we have the project management after them, making sure that they are meeting this schedule. And that's important, otherwise they won't finish it for the exhibit. Another very interesting outcome here is that the students get to learn what the different job responsibilities, different roles are. So sometimes they come to us and they don't know what is the differences between a designer and a developer. And when somebody says web developer or web designer, there's a lot of confusion as to who does what. And so here very clearly, early on, they can see the different roles, the different jobs, the different responsibilities, and the different technologies that get used, of course. They learn about the life cycle of a product. They go from the very beginning, looping until they get something they like, and all the way to the end. All these courses are part of our web certificate programs, as well as the engineering design degree. So what does it take to build something like this? It is really important to have strong faculty collaboration. And in this case, it's across departments, because Marina's in the engineering department, I'm in the computer science department. Our two adjuncts that are working with us, they teach in both the CS and also in the humanities department. To get started, we had to meet and align our curriculum, just make sure that our projects were aligned so that students could move forward towards having a project at the very end. We also have to change things every end of semester. On the spring, when we teach it, we sort of review, get feedback from the students, get feedback from the faculty, and change things just to make sure that we can improve it. A lot of change due to technologies. Like I teach the website development. I've been using Studio.net and VB. This semester I'm going to be teaching it open source, so we're moving into PHP, NetBeans, and XAMPP. So big change, and just making, hopefully, it's going to be an interesting path to make sure that we can follow the schedule the right way. So a lot of things to discover still, but the students are excited because you've got students that come with Macs, with PCs, and if you're just using Studio, it becomes a problem. You also need administrative support, because scheduling that common hour can be a nightmare. Especially if the students should be able to enroll in more than one course. We use PeopleSoft in our school for registrations, and if you have a time conflict, of course it won't let you register in 2 courses, and we do want them to be able to take these 2 courses. So, and I should actually say, if a student enrolls in 2 courses, they're going to be playing 2 roles in the same team. In the past, we had them have 2 roles in 2 different teams, and that wasn't a good idea. It didn't work very well. So now they play the 2 roles in 1 team. They still have double the amount of work, and they don't have more people to deal with.
But at least they get to meet with the same team during that hour.
Yeah. Otherwise, they have to meet with double the number of people, and it just becomes a little more difficult. So the scheduling, because of space and time, was an issue. So we've overcome that. They know we're coming in the spring. They all prepare for us. For enrollment, they know about that. We try to connect with all the faculty just to make sure they're aware of this, and also connect with the advising team so they can make sure they can advise their students to take 1 or 2 courses if they would like to.
And the registrar office needs to be aware, because they have to come in and sign up manually for a second course if they decide to. So the registrar office needs to be able to sign them in.
Yeah. So we have funds to support our speakers. We have office hours. So because some of the courses are being taught by adjuncts, and we move at a pace that it's important, we do need tutoring and office hours from the adjuncts, so we have support for that. And some of the support comes from BAPE.
So bear with me here for a second, because this is somewhat unorthodox method of teaching, we do ask our students to provide some feedback for us. This is usually during the mid-semester, so we know what's going on. And we learned this at Olin College, actually. A really quick method of anonymous feedback is a little post-it note, and we don't ask them to write a lot. Just answer 3 questions: I like, I do not like, and I wish. And so we give them post-it notes, we leave the room, and they just put the post-it notes on the board. And when we come in, we don't know who put what where. And so some of the relevant ones that I want to read to you, so bear with me because they are written. I like having time to meet and see other roles in web design development. So clearly, this guy is learning about the different roles, not just the ones that he would be able to learn in just one class. I don't like that members don't follow deadlines. I wish I knew more about roles of other members. I like that I get to work with other students. I don't like that I can't contribute much for most of the projects. So who is this person? In the role, this is the developer who comes in at the very end. And this is mid-semester, so he doesn't know that yet. And I wish I could help more in my group. I like working as a group. It's easier to get help when I need it. And I like that we are working as a team. It makes everything easier for everybody. I don't like that there are teams with missing people. I think everybody should have an equal team of work. And I wish to have a graphic designer. So I'm going to take it over to Susanne, who can talk a little bit more about that one.
Yeah. So something that we, this is the what's new. We're trying to sort of answer to some of these issues, improve the team. So one of the problems that we've had in the past is that the students they can do the design, they can do the programming, they can do the imaging, but there has to be content. You have to be able to read something on the page, and they're always like typing or copying and pasting from somewhere. Sometimes the content doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're adding an English freshman class to be part of the community. So this semester we're going to be 5 courses. And they are going to take care of providing all the content. They're going to be blogging. They're going to be adding a lot of the parts that our students have been struggling with. In addition, another problem we face is that because not all the courses have the same number of students, then when we create the teams, you have teams that are missing maybe a designer or a digital imager, hopefully not a developer because that's a little bit harder, but or a project manager. But we need to deal with that. So in the past, we've told the students, okay, if you're missing a designer, I'll give you a CSS, just whatever shows up, and we're not looking at how beautiful it's going to be. It just has to work. And something I actually need to mention is the students are graded by the skills they bring to the project. So if it's the web designer, they're going to be graded by the design. My students are graded by the functionality. It has to work. They need to be able to drive the website by using a database. So the programming is graded. So if they're missing a designer, it doesn't affect the grade. But in order to solve that problem, we have connected with a college in Dundee and Angus, which is in Scotland. And they are going to be, so they were looking to partner with another school to do some kind of collaboration. And they had partnered with a high school and it hadn't worked very well. So we got connected somehow, and so now we are going to be testing this by having them on standby to provide services in design and in digital imaging. So if there's a team that is missing a digital imager, then they will take care of providing all the logos and the banners and the images. If they're missing the designer and so they don't have CSS or jQueries and all that fun stuff, they will be providing that. So this is going to be the first time we do this. We are already, we've spoken to them and we're going to try to do this. They've scheduled their hour on our common hour, so it'll be 4 o'clock there when we're meeting, so it'll be a good time for us sort of to do a Google Hangout, or we're exploring having Cisco provide us with a pilot, some tools to use WebEx. So just to make it a little more professional. So, our flyer has changed a little bit. We've included a new class and the logo of this new college that we're going to be connecting with.
So we wanted you guys to have the experience, or a little bit of the experience that our students are having. Are you guys up for that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying a question.
So when you say designing a shopping cart, so is there a programming class where you actually write the code for the shopping cart?
Okay, yeah. So the question is, since we say the shopping cart, is there a programming class where they actually program the shopping cart? So the website development class is a programming class. So the students, in order to take that class, must have taken either a scripting language or Java, a programming course. So what happens is this course is an elective for the computer science, the traditional computer science majors, and it's required for the web developers and required for the computer information system students. So a lot of the students that come here, they know how to program. So that allows me to move very fast and introduce. In the past it has been .NET, but it will be this time we'll do PHP. So I won't be teaching how to write a loop. They'll have to look at the syntax because they already know how to do loops, constructs, they know how to program. So that allows me to introduce a little bit of the database. Database is not required. So that is something I do a little crash course on database. I need them to write SQL. I need them to understand what is the structures of tables. But they're just querying and writing. Querying and inserting. They're not going to create the database. I provide a database for them to use, an empty one. So they have to populate it.
So, and my other question is, how do you grade the students when they're working?
Yeah, so how do we grade the students when they're working the team? That's the question. So in my class, for example, I'm going to be grading the programming piece. So if there has to be functionality, if they didn't have a designer and they didn't have a digital imager, and if they didn't have a project manager, they have to make sure they submit the project on time, and I have to be able to shop. I have to be able to select products, query for products, add information, add information from a product, add it to a cart, shop, get my totals, and insert. Add me to the database as a customer. I have to have all the functionality the shopping cart requires. So I'm just grading that piece. And Marina, you may want to talk about your piece also.
So the project managers are graded based on, the schedule. Did they use the software correctly, Microsoft Project correctly? Did they create all the right memos? Did they submit all the stuff on time? So they're not, if they, it does happen occasionally, unfortunately, is one of the team members fell off the face of Earth and didn't show up for class for a few weeks. They're not effective. Their grade, the team is affected, but their grade is not affected. The same with, I think, web designers. If it doesn't function, we don't expect the web designers to make it so it functions.
Yeah. So the designers will come up with a site. Mm-hmm. They'll have something up, and whether you can actually shop will depend on the developers. And if in the past, if they've been missing a graphic designer, they would go into, there's some tools online where you can go, I can't remember the names right now, where you can just type and it create, and then you can select backgrounds and colors and flashing thing, it creates a logo for you. So in the worst case, those that don't have a digital imager will use those tools or just bring images. But so they are great. There's no complete project grade. We don't do that.
And we each grade our students individually.
Yes. So. Yes, without any feedback from. So so the collaboration piece is for them to understand that they contribute a piece, and that to do these kinds of projects, you need all the pieces. But they will be evaluated on the piece they contribute.
So there's no evaluation piece for how good of a team member they were, how much they looked like.
Actually, that's an interesting point. We don't do that, no. So we are evaluating the skills they learn,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And we get feedback on the soft skills they're learning, but we are not evaluating those. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just like you would in the class just ran on its own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, we have a student, Namita, for example. She took. I don't know whether you like to make some comments, Namita. So Namita took this shopping cart experience a year ago, I think. In the spring, exactly a year ago. And so, I mean, you can talk a little bit about your experience.
I came actually in a programming background because I took JavaScript and database. So designing was the first time that I did. So, I was new to designing. So I liked that part because we were asked initially to create wireframes. We were taught as a designer, potentially if I had to take a job as a web designer in future. So I was asked to do a web frame first, a wireframe. Then I was asked to discuss the color codings with my team members. So they said black and orange, so I did that. It looked very ugly. So then I said, no, it doesn't look good. So I need something which is more good, like a white and a red, which is basically. So we had these discussions back and forth, and that's how we actually designed. And then for our classes, our teacher actually taught us how to do responsive media query, because that was the one thing that for web designers, which is new, which along with the HTML5, so we had to do all these things. So that was a good experience for us.
Yeah. Something we do also at the end of the spring, so we have what we call this networking event where we have the students get prepared in terms of resume writing and interviewing skills, and then we bring employers for them to interview with. So we have this speed networking event where the students are interviewing with the employers, and most of the students that participate in this community, learning community, actually participate because they now have the skills that are really marketable. And we've had students hired not only through, of course, many of them get hired, or most of them get hired through this networking event, but also when we do the exhibit, the STEM Expo at the end of the semester, we've had, we invite employers, we invite high schools, we invite middle schools, we invite the whole school, the whole community to come and see the STEM Expo. Everybody's exhibiting. And we've had actually last year, we had two of the students hired right there on the spot for internships. One became a job and the other one actually wasn't just an internship. So it is a great opportunity for the students, and I always tell my CS students, the ones that are in the traditional computer science major, this is the course that makes them marketable. Because if they're just doing programming in Java, like there was a talk yesterday, it's true. With a 2-year degree, nobody's going to hire if you're just programming, if you're a CS major. If you want to make yourself marketable, you better be taking the database course, the network course, or this web course, which are usually electives. But there's so many electives that a lot of times they are taking maybe...
what do you choose?
Yeah, what do you choose? And so these are the courses that make them marketable, and because they have a strong programming background, if they participate in this event, which we call the technology internship event, the TIP event, they get the jobs right away. So all they need to learn is how to design, a little bit of database, and the programming they already know. They just have to adapt it to these server-side technologies like PHP or VB or whatever it is that they want to use, and then there they are landing the jobs.
And so this provides, first of all, it builds their portfolio. It's something that they can add to their portfolio. They can talk about the piece that they've done. They can talk about the fact that they've worked in a team. They can talk about the fact that they can communicate. They know the different jobs and the different responsibilities. So it's just value added.
Yeah. Plus, during the interview, it's interesting when we get the employers to come to interview. Sometimes they're not technology, they don't understand, so they are looking for somebody to do a website, and they've been maybe sent by somebody, but they don't really understand the technologies or the differences. So the students can talk better sometimes, or feel more comfortable talking about all these different things because they have lived it, they went through it. So it's actually an interesting situation where they'll come back and say, well, they're mixing all of that, they're talking about this and that, and it's just because they have seen the different roles and they get a better feeling for the different responsibilities in terms of projects. So we have this idea where we could try it out just to show you how this works. And
20 minutes.
yeah, this is only going to take 15 minutes. Yeah.
Not the whole semester work.
No. So we thought that if we had teams of 3, we could do this.
Right.
And yeah, so if you can move and yeah. So all we're going to do is yeah, and then you can, if you have teams of 3, you can give them a different color each for the team. So we're going to have a designer, a developer. Don't worry, nobody's going to be programming, nobody's going to be really designing anything. We're not using any technology. We're just going to use Paint,
Word, and
Paint and Word and Excel if you want to. Yeah. So you can let them choose. Oh, Namita, don't let them choose. Just okay. Don't even look at the color. Just give them
like our students using that choice.
The course is required. The project is the choice. So we.
You want me to interrupt the recording?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
Maybe you could make an announcement.
Okay, so we're going to have this workshop where we're going to have a designer, a developer, and an imager. And we're going to work as a team and design a little shopping cart, but all, of course, just in
theory.
In theory. Okay, but you'll have to communicate and agree, and then you'll show us what you can. Right? Or you can do it together and create the pieces.
So the point of the objective of this is for you to see a little bit of the communication that our students have to do, to see a little bit of the different pieces that the students have to do, and then how, like the fact that they combine it. Obviously, in this time frame, we do not have time to integrate, unfortunately. But we're just creating the pieces.
Yeah. So, for example, if you have, let's see, which one was the?
But just like our students, everybody really wants to go and create something. Before you create something, our advice is talk to each other.
Yeah, you need agreement. So if you have a green sticker, you're a designer. If you have a pink one, you're a developer. If you have a yellow one, you're an imager. So this is what. So yeah. So here's what you're going to do. So the imager is going to use Paint or something to design a logo. But decide on what your theme is going to be first. What are you selling? What's the name of your store? So you have to agree. You can't just let. And then that's your digital. And your web designer is going to sort of create a little. You can draw in Paint or in Word with the boxes. You know, where's the logo going to be? Where do you show the products? Where the menus? Okay, yeah, so whatever tool you use.
Yeah, pick a tool that you would.
And who's the developer here?
I currently am.
Okay, so for the developer, depending on what products you're going to be selling, what's the
Product name.
exactly, what's the little description, a little, yes, okay. So here, where's the other team?
No, I know. I'm fine with it. Okay, let's tell. Oh, what's the fun? Oh yeah, further people okay, so we'll be like American food. So we'll be. I'm gonna do product food coordinator. I'm just gonna start.
When they get together for that common hour and start talking to each other and ignoring us, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. When we're ignored, that's really good.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, but so you see, there's a lot of coordination that takes place, and you need to remember these students are in different classes. They only get to see each other 1 hour, and the rest of the conversation and coordination has to happen outside of the class.
They do have a common, we've been using Blackboard, so they do have a common space where they can upload information. We can also, they all have Google accounts, so they can also use the Google Drive to share information.
Well, this year we're going to move away from Blackboard in terms of the sharing piece, because we're going to be collaborating with Scotland, and they have no access to our Blackboard site. So we're going to go fully Google Docs to do the sharing, because it's the only way. So we're going open source so that we can take the Linux, the Macs, and the PCs, and we're going Google Docs to allow for better collaboration with the outside people.
I have something.
All right.
Colors we can change, but
So we're going to give you about 1 more minute to talk to each other, and then maybe talk about your experience doing this.
Oh, got it. And I just have to make sure that I have accounted for that in here.
Any impressions?
Any feedback?
Oh, yes.
Everyone wants to finish their project?
Yeah, they're almost.
It's so ready. Thank you.
Are you ignoring the colors and shapes of your logo?
I don't know.
no, we haven't done that yet.
Boy, it goes on at the same time.
Right.
Project is due now.
Take a picture of a burger. And just put it on there.
Yes.
2 minutes?
2 minutes. I feel like I need another table. We'll call the product.
Yep. Individual products. So they have the
Yes.
common hour. We all meet, all classes meet together for 1 hour.
So every week. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so your initial.
your project team meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
An hour a week.
Yeah.
So they get to initially they get to talk and pick things and select things, and then they get to test and make sure things work.
Yeah. So during the hour, the time in the classroom.
Did you copy the burger?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. 5 cent burgers. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We have a winner. How do we share that?
Yeah. So the question is engagement and retention through this learning community as a result. So I can say that many of the students that take this course as an elective, or even if it's required in the program, discover that this course is part of a certificate. And so they may be in the computer science major and then decide to pick up the certificate on the side. And they'll find out that some of their course apply, like if they took Java, we don't ask them to take scripting because the programming is there. And so they graduate with a certificate in web. Or if they're CIS, they graduate with a certificate in web, whether it's a designer or a developer. So we're finding that students, and they stay and they participate. They come back and they participate in this networking event. We've had the same student apply 2-3 times. They come like, we run it every semester. So we have them like 3 times in semesters. They're always going for design or development or different projects. And so it's really interesting how it's worked. We have quite a few students that it gives them a lot of confidence. All of a sudden they have something that is usable. The right way they can create.
And just to add to this, although it's not, I don't have a written data, but I've had a lot of students come to us and say, well, I don't want to take this course as a standalone. I'm going to wait till spring to take it when it runs as a learning community.
Yeah, yeah. They wait for us to run it as a community because they're hearing that it's fun, that there's a group, there's a team. Yes.
Groups already before they take the class in mind, or is it?
No, because they don't know the students from the other classes.
Nope.
Unless they come with somebody and says, oh, I'm going to take this, you take that. But they still have 3 more members, but they don't know.
4 classes,
This semester is going to be 5.
5 classes, so 15 credits.
Well, no, these are in one class, different. One of my class is 4 credits. Marina's class is 4 credits. The designer is 4, the digital imager is 3, and the English class I think is 3 credits. But they're not taking, it's not a cohort. They just pick what they want to take.
Yep.
The student may only take 1.
Yeah. Typically they can only take maximum of 2.
Yeah.
Because of how the classes are scheduled, they can take maximum of 2 at a semester.
Exactly. So they don't know. That's why we need the networking event for them to know the students and pick their teams because they don't know.
so the mechanical engineering is this is a project management piece. It sits in the mechanical engineering department. So with my mechanical engineering students, they have to learn a lot about programming and the different technologies. When the CS, we really love when CS students take these classes. It is required for some of the web certificates. When the CS students, they become our experts because our mechanical engineering students need to really learn about how to manage all this.
So, yes, thank you.
Do you have students in different semesters that could conceivably take a different class? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we have them come back as managers, designers, developers. Yes, you see them going around. It's really interesting. And it's great because they take better advantage. They know how it works, what the deal is, and they actually, it's good.
They become our experts.
Yeah.
How is it logistically? Because I know, having done learning communities with common cohorts and teaching other people, and it's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, and it's all the scheduling, the advising, the common hour, the number of chairs, enrollment. Yeah. We only do it once a semester, that's why.
Once a year.
Yeah, once a year, but it's a lot of fun. It's very, very rewarding.
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for participating.